So, you're buying a home here in Silicon Valley, and you're wondering, how much is this going to cost me? In this video, we're going over all of the costs, from the hidden fees to the not so hidden fees and everything in between coming up. What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Danny Gould. I'm the CEO of the Selling Silicon Valley Group, and we help people buy and sell homes here in the Bay Area. So whatever your real estate needs are, we are here to help. We are literally getting dozens of phone calls, text messages every single day from people moving and relocating here from our YouTube channel, and we absolutely love it. So whatever your real estate needs are here in the Bay Area, my team is here to help. All right, so how much does it actually cost to buy a home here in Silicon Valley? I went ahead and broke it down into the 6 main components of potential costs of buying a home in Silicon Valley. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll share a 7th bonus cost with you free of charge. Okay, so the first cost that you should be aware of as a buyer is what's called the earnest money deposit, or EMD for short. It's very common, especially here in the San Francisco Bay Area, Silicon Valley, for the EMD to be 3% of the purchase price, which should be liquid at the time that you are making offers. Why? Because it's usually required to be wired into the bank of the escrow holder within 1 to 3 days of your offer being accepted. So on $1 million purchase, a EMD is going to be, in all likelihood, $30,000. And that should be in your savings account, in your checking account, ready to be wired at a moment's notice. They should not be held in securities or other assets that will take time to liquidate, because you're not gonna have that sort of time when you're making offers and your offer gets accepted. It should be liquid at the time that you make offers. The second cost, and usually the most expensive cost with buying a home, is going to be the actual down payment that you bring down on the property. Let's go back to that $1 million example. Let's say that you are putting 10% down, which, by the way, there are plenty of 10% down products available to you. If you have any questions about how to access those, you can call, text me at the number down below, and I'll get you set up with someone that can help you with 10% down products, even in the $1 million price range. But anyways, I digress. $1 million, 10% down, that's going to be $100,000 that you have to put down towards your purchase. Now, the great news is that the earnest money deposit is always considered a part of the down payment. So in that same example from before, we put $30,000 down as your EMD. At the end of the transaction, you will wire another $70,000 in to make that full $100,000 or 10% down payment. There are a plethora of down payment options out there. There are many buyers, even in Silicon Valley, who are putting as little as 3% down on their homes. And you can put as much of a down payment as you want on the home. You could pay all cash if you want to, which would be 100%, or anywhere in between. It really just depends on the amount of money that you have to put down, what you're comfortable with, and what the bank will approve you for on the loan side of things. So if you can't get approved for a high loan, you'll have to put more down in order to afford the same kind of house. So it's all dependent on how much you have available and what loan products you qualify for. The only way to find that out is to actually speak to a lender. And if you're interested in any sort of down payment program, and people ask, well, down payment assistance, well, there's tons of options for you. You can just text the word loan to the number down below, and we'll get you hooked up with someone that can help you out. The third cost associated with buying a home is going to be the inspections that you do as a buyer. A lot of sellers right now in Silicon Valley and in the Bay Area are actually getting a full set of reports from a licensed inspector and make those available to the buyers before they make the offer. In a lot of cases, buyers choose to just use those inspections as opposed to getting their own, for a lot of reasons that we won't get into in this video. But just know that in cases where the seller doesn't get inspections done, or you want to do your own set of inspections anyways, inspections can be done, and generally speaking, termite, roof, and a home inspection report are going to run anywhere from $800 for a small home all the way through maybe even $1,500 for 4,000 or 5,000 square foot home. Other ancillary inspection reports like foundation reports, or if the home has a pool report. These are all extra add-ons that could be added for $300, $500, another $1,000. But for a standard home, just a very standard home, 2,000 square feet, somewhere in Silicon Valley, single family home, it needs a roof inspection. It's gonna cost somewhere around $1,000. That being said, it's money well spent. That $1,000 is going to uncover way more than $1,000 worth of work that needs to be done. And as a buyer, when you get those reports, that for you is leverage. So never skip out on the inspections. The fourth set of costs associated with buying a home are in the title and escrow fees, as well as the city and the county transfer taxes. There's a couple things that you should be aware of when it comes to the fees and taxes. First of all, they are negotiable. And second of all, there are a customary set of rules for each county and each city, meaning they are negotiable in the sense that you can negotiate the terms of any contract. However, there is a customary set of rules and expectations when it comes to each county and each city. For example, in Santa Clara County, the title and the escrow fees are paid for by the seller. But in Alameda County, the title and the escrow fees are actually paid for by the buyer. These are customary. Again, they're negotiable, but there's a customary way of splitting them up between the buyer and the seller. For a complete breakdown of title, escrow fees, and the city and the county transfer tax, and who customarily pays for what, you can text the word closing costs to the number down below, and we'll send you a 2-pager that has all that information for you. Wrapping up the fees and the tax discussion, it really depends on the price of the home, the amount of fees that you're going to pay. And it depends on which city and which county you're in. The fees could vary tremendously, but just a very baseline expectation so that we're not too far above or too far below. If you're a buyer, you could expect to pay anywhere from 0.5% of the purchase price. So on a $1 million home, that's $5,000, all the way up and above 2% of the purchase price, especially if you're like in Alameda County, where the buyer customarily takes care of most of the closing costs and fees. And for those of us buying homes over $2 million in San Jose, congratulations. You have an additional tax to pay because you're buying a home over $2 million. And this additional tax is customarily split between the buyer and the seller. However, all of that needs to be negotiated up front. So make sure, you should definitely be aware of this, because this is a brand new law that just passed less than 6 months ago. And so making sure that you negotiate that up front is imperative. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in mediation and arbitration trying to figure out who is going to pay for that additional tax. So beware, that is definitely something to look out for if you're buying a home in San Jose over $2 million. Don't you just love taxes? All right, home stretch here. The fifth cost associated with buying a home are the lender's fees. Every lender and every loan product has a different set of fees associated with it. And depending on your rate and everything, you might want to buy it down, and you would pay additional points to buy down the rate. So there is a lot of variability in how much it will actually cost you to close your loan. Typically, loan closing costs are going to be anywhere from, again, 0.5 point to 2 percentage points of not the purchase price, but the loan amount. Again, this could vary. So make sure that you're speaking to the lender that you're working with and figure out exactly what that cost breakdown is going to be. Any good lender should be able to give you an estimated closing statement, which is going to show exactly how much money you're expected to bring to the table. That is including all of the transfer taxes, all of the title and escrow fees, literally all of the costs associated with buying a home. A lender, any good lender, should be able to provide you with an estimated closing statement when you are shopping for a home, giving them a certain price, saying, hey, I'm gonna buy a home in San Jose for $1.8 million. What does my estimated closing statement look like? So they should be able to give that to you. And that's a lot easier to use as a baseline than just kind of guesstimating by using this video. So if you took away anything from this video, it's make sure that when you finally get approved for your loan and you're shopping for a home, that you get an estimated closing statement at whatever price range you're looking in, to just get a baseline and understand exactly how much you're going to be expected to bring to the table. And finally, that brings us to the sixth cost associated with buying a home: commissions. I've been in this business for a long time, and one of the biggest misconceptions that I see when buyers come into my office for the first time is they are actually expecting to pay a retainer or pay some sort of fee for the services of a real estate agent. I've got great news for you. As a real estate agent, we actually get paid by the seller. Actually, more specifically than that, we get paid out of the proceeds of the sale. And so for any home buyer out there in Silicon Valley, the great news for you is that yes, you're gonna have your down payment. Yes, you're gonna have loan closing costs. You're gonna have the city and the transfer taxes and all that stuff. And you're gonna have the title and the escrow fees, and you're gonna have the inspections. But the great news is that you won't have to pay your agent on the buy side. You only have to pay when you go and you sell your house. Just thought I'd throw in that last bit to give you a little bit of good news at the end of this video, because I know buying a home is expensive and all of those little costs can definitely add up. So my biggest suggestion to you is to get that estimated closing statement so that you at least have a baseline understanding of what it's going to take and how much money you need to bring at the closing table. And before I let you go, I didn't forget about the 7th bonus closing cost associated with buying a home. In this market, there are some opportunities out there that are going to present themselves in which you buy a home that needs a little bit of work. Another potential cost associated with buying a home are all of the renovations that you need to do when you buy it. Don't forget about this. At the very least, a lot of homes here in the Bay Area require termite tenting before you move in. Definitely make sure that you get that done before you move into the home. It's very common for homes to have termites here in the Bay Area. Don't skimp out on that. Don't delay that and leave that for another day. You want to make sure you take care of it before you move into the house, because if you don't, then you're gonna have to bag up all your stuff when you eventually do get it tented. So it's better to just get it tented when you move in, and that way you can just forget about it. And any other repairs that you need to do to the home, those are things that you can factor in. And that's the 7th main cost associated with buying a home here in Silicon Valley. So that's all I've got for you in this video. If you have any other questions or anything at all about buying a home here in Silicon Valley, don't hesitate to call or text us at the number down below. I hope you got some value out of this video, and regardless of who you choose to help you in your home buying journey, I wish you the absolute best of luck. This is Danny Gould, everyone, selling Silicon Valley. Catch y'all in the next video.